You don't have to be a slave in the system. It doesn't matter what's happened in your past or how controlled you may feel by money. Even if you do not think that you can do it, there is a way out. Deep down, all we want is to be happy, to be loved, to have purpose, meaning, and freedom in our lives. The question is, why are so many of us unhappy, struggling and suffering in life? Because the society that we grew up in has programmed our minds to be afraid of the unknown, to be afraid of failure. To keep us stuck, we've been programmed to think small, to not believe in ourselves, and care so much about what other people think of us that it controls us. But this is all changing as we are waking up and you realize the path that you've been walking is not really leading you to your deepest fulfillment, is it? If you're listening to these words, you know it's time for a change. It's time to stop letting fear and self-doubt get in your way. And it's time to start seeing a bigger vision for yourself and the world. And it all starts within. My name is Trinity Guzman, and I've discovered a power, an inner fire, and an ability that allows us, any one of us, to be able to create whatever we want in life. It's the same light within that the world's most influential leaders and teachers have discovered. Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Buddha, and the Dalai Lama. I struggled for so long before I found this secret myself. I chased money because I was convinced by society that it would actually make me happy, but it didn't. At the young age of 19, after sacrificing 3 years of my life working almost 16 hours a day every day, I discovered what it was like to earn a lot of money. And all it did was show me that money is not the answer. And it brought me to start asking the questions that really matter. If money isn't it, then what is life really about? What am I really here to do with my life? I knew I was here for a bigger purpose, a bigger vision. And I cared so deeply about giving back to my parents for all they've sacrificed for me. So one day, when I was driven so deeply to find answers to these questions, I sold practically everything I owned, and with a single backpack in 2010, I left my hometown of Vancouver, Canada. I didn't really have a plan or know where I was going. I just knew I needed to go, to stop doing what everybody else was doing and find answers. All I cared about was finding my purpose. I knew that once I did, everything would make sense. But what I found was something so much greater. In my travels, I had to learn to trust my heart and trust my own inner guidance. Whatever you call it, Spirit guides us from within. And when we listen, we are led by the hand and shown how to find a truth within ourselves that nobody could ever teach us, because it's only something that we can discover for ourselves. When we leave behind the familiar and ask the questions that really matter. When we find the guide within, we realize all the pain, struggles, hardships, and difficulties that we've ever had, they've all led us and prepared us for this moment. When we realize that nothing is more important than coming inside and finding the divine within. When we do, we remember there are truly no limits to what we can create in life but our imagination. And you can do, be, or have anything that you want in life. You stop being ruled by fear when you realize you have the power of the entire universe within you. And when you discover this true power that we all have, that we've come here to simply forget and remember, you'll realize that nothing or nobody can stop you from creating any life that you want to live. The only question is, what do you really want? But here is the key. We can't just discover this power and live for just ourselves. There comes a point, once we have everything we want, the only next step is to share that with the world, to help others discover the same limitless possibilities in life and realize that life does not have to be a struggle. But life is meant to be enjoyed with each other, with love and connection, freedom, travel, beauty, true inner peace, and whatever you want. This is why I create this video, to wake this up within you and as many people as I can in the world. And this is the common thread of the greatest beings who've ever walked the planet. They lived for something bigger than just themselves, and they found the guide inside. Now is the time for us to step up and show up for not only ourselves to get out of our struggles, but above all, to stand up for a bigger purpose. If we want to live in a better world, if we want to see less people suffering and unhappy around us, if we want to be happier as a whole, it's up to nobody else but you and I. No longer can you settle for anything less, because the time has come. And when we care about something bigger than just ourselves, all of our little problems seem to almost solve themselves. So we make this video to bring us together, to create community. Because in order to create real change in the world, it's only possible together. We need each other to support each other and uplift each other, especially when so many of us are struggling. This is the natural way of the ancients, to gather as tribe, and our modern society has separated us to keep us from standing up. And this is why we create this movement of awakening in the world for all those who are ready to stand up for something bigger together. The only question is, are you? Are you ready to live your highest truth? To discover your deepest purpose, your highest potential, and your greatest joy? Are you ready to find the freedom that your heart and soul so deeply yearns for? The time has come. There's no longer any other option but yes. Can you imagine still doing the same thing that you're doing 5 years from now? 10 years from now? How do you feel when you see yourself in the future walking the same path that you're walking today? Are you happy in that picture? The longer you wait, the longer the struggle. It is time for a profound shift. So pay close attention, as these words will continue to ring within you long after you've finished watching this video. You know this path is for you, to grow for yourself and the people around you. But what next? What do you do now? How do you get past all the obstacles within yourself that have stopped you before? And what about money? So many of us earn just enough to pay the bills. How do you get past that? Even if you feel so stuck and trapped by society and the busyness of it all, what do you do? Stay tuned for the next video where we answer these questions and give you so much more to uplift you into creating the greatest life that you've come here to live. Because there's no mistake that you're listening to these words right now. Until next time, this is our prayer and our offering. May all beings be happy and free.